opposition has accepted the proposal by the head of state to conduct a triple election by holding the local elections in parallel with federal and presidential elections on October 13. After completing the interviews with the candidates for the special anti-corruption structure, the High Council of the Prosecution has announced their shortlisted 15 of 22 candidates. The Parliamentary Economic Commission has decided to postpone the discussion on the draft law approved by the government for the Investment Corporation until September. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the 16th of July 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning into RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. DP leader Lulzim Basha is satisfied with the notion to conduct elections on October 13th. He agreed with statements made by the president that October 13 should be the day to hold a triple election encompassing all levels of politics as a means of solving the political stalemate. After discovering some details through a meeting with the president, Basha issued this statement. The head of state considers October 13th as an opportunity to emerge from the political crisis through the conduct of snap elections. That is, local elections and, as politically expressed, through presidential elections, thus implying constitutional changes. With the utmost appreciation for the president's stance and his concern, I made it clear that the Democratic Party and the united opposition are in this battle for the people. Unlike the June 30 fast, the upcoming elections should be for the people and not for the parties. In this function, the opposition is ready to take every step in order to guarantee Albanians their right to vote, a right that had been violated and alienated beyond any imagination. On 30 June, Edi Rama did not resist the temptation to steal the process, a process which he ran himself and counted himself, declared Basha. Meanwhile, in regards to his meeting with allies, Basha explained that they discussed plans for further political action. Today, in the meeting with the united opposition, we discussed the further steps that will be thrown into our agenda of political action in relation to the people, in relation to the international factor, and in relation to both those solutions that we expect and those that we will offer to the citizens. We have long discussed the economic emergency in our country. Because of the biggest sins, one of the biggest mistakes of this gang that governs us was drawing the opposition into the principled battle for fundamental values of freedom and democracy. The fight against crime and drugs has strained Albania, her budget and her assets. It has stolen and robbed the simple citizen, the wealth of this country, and submerged the economy into its darkest days for at least 2 decades. Therefore, we have jointly discussed our economic platform for making the better economic choices that Albanians deserve and will have with the victory of the united opposition, a victory which has already been confirmed not only through public opinion surveys, but also through the level of participation on June 30th, concluded Basha. The High Council of the Prosecution has presented the list of 15 candidates to be appointed to the Special Anti-Corruption Prosecution, commonly known as SPAC. At today's meeting, they presented a list of names ranked according to interview results, while it is expected that the vetting process will be completed before the final confirmation of the names. The first on the list is Tirana Appeals Prosecutor Altin Dumani, followed by Prosecutor of Serious Crimes Anton Martini and the head of Tirana's prosecution Elisabeta Imerai. Arben Kraja, Doloresa Musabeliu, Claudian Braho, Enkeleda Milonai and Maniola Kayana are also listed. The list goes on with candidates Edvin Kondili, Ened Nakuchi, Elida Kachkini, Dini Tavani, Beha Dibra, Anita Yela and Besnik Muci. The chair of the High Council of the Prosecution, Gent Brahimi, said this ranking is preliminary and is conditioned by the results of the vetting process for each of the 15 candidates. The Electoral College will have the greatest weight in the decision-making process on the June 30 vote, since the Central Election Commission meetings are still underway on the proceedings without having made any decision. The votes against the CEC chair, Clement Zuguri, mean that the Commission falls short of the 5-vote quorum required to distribute mandates to municipal councillors, leaving 42 municipalities in a status of pending a decision by the Electoral College. The Democratic Conviction Party has addressed a number of statements to this institution. Following the overthrowing of their complaints by the Central Election Commission, the Democratic Conviction Party will seek a declaration of invalidity for June 30. However, the electoral law provides another procedure for mayors who can be mandated with a simple majority with 4 votes. As such, today the court gave mandates to the 6 new mayors, Agron Mala in Mat, Jolek Gucci in Memaliai, Flamurgolemi in Girocastra, Fatus Tushe in Lushnia, Lorenz Toscu in Pechin, and Ilir Jacoli in Pogradets. The Parliamentary Commission had expected to discuss the draft law on the Albanian Investment Corporation during today's meeting, but based on a decision made by the MPs, the review was postponed until September. Deputy Chair of the Commission, Arben Elezi, stated that the draft law lacks transparency, while emphasising the need for the establishment of a special commission. The draft law, previously approved by the government, provides for the establishment of a state-owned commercial corporation that will administer public properties, investments, and the mobilisation of public and private money for new investments. The jewellery store, which became the scene of an explosion yesterday in the block, has been inspected, with investigators finding 2 gas cylinders. One was filled with propane, while the other was filled with cryogenic gas. Investigators from the firefighting service determined that the valve on the cylinder filled with cryogenic gas had been left open, allowing gas to flow into the tube between the barrel and the device used for the smelting of gold. It has been concluded that this has caused the explosion to occur. Investigators have continued today to uncover all the details of the event, with even experts present to assess the damage caused to the jewellery stocked by the store. 5 people were injured by the powerful explosion, among which were the 2 owners of the store, Sokol and Alma Pira. It has been learned that the female spouse was in the basement where and when the explosion occurred, whilst her husband was upstairs in the shop premises. Sources inform that the couple are improving from their previously reported serious condition. The explosion was extremely powerful, completely destroying both the jewellery store and a neighbouring shop. Furthermore, a number of vehicles parked nearby have also been damaged by flying debris as a result of the explosion. Sokol Pira was educated in law and is also one of the founders of the Albanian Jewish community in Albania. The Institute for Crime Studies and Consequences of Communism will only investigate the communist crimes from the period of 29 November 1944 until 1990. The Socialist Party, based on proposals by its MPs, approved the change in the period of study despite controversy by Agron Tufa and opposition MPs to include the war period between partisans and Ballists. MP Tom Doshi was also against the decision. The new opposition have often voted in unison with the majority, but on the issue of including the wartime period, they remain split. The Socialists withdrew from the demand that the employees of the Institute for Crime Studies and Consequences of Communism be provided with a security certificate as, according to Agron Tufa, this institution does not handle classified documents. Meanwhile, Muslim Murizi demanded a law for the equipment of all MPs with a security card be enacted on the justification that the cleaning of former state security in politics and administration has been completed. At the end of the commission, Spartak Braho met with Agron Tufa despite numerous accusations and counter-accusations in public between the pair, while earlier former MP Bashkim Fino continued to be the socialist rebel in the Law Commission as he requested an amendment of Article 41 in the Civil Protection Law. However, this proposal was not taken into account by his colleagues. The tragic death of a 25-year-old at Halter Canyon has prompted renewed calls reminding travellers not to risk their lives for the sake of adventures. According to experts, no matter the destination, everyone should travel with at least one companion who knows the peculiarities of the terrain and climate. Nature sports are an emerging trend in our country, but experts warn that despite the increased desire for people to explore new destinations, the right safety information is not yet available to prevent risk. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.